Hello, Big Dreamers, and welcome to the Dream Big podcast. This is your host, Olga Karpman. Today, I would like to share a very special episode with you that Eva recorded a while ago. Do you remember how me and Sophia recorded episodes about assumptions and how to stay positive? Well, this is a perfect addition to that same topic, because Gabby and Eva talked about how to be and stay happy during challenging times. I feel before you return to school, make sure to listen to the entire episode and learn how Gabby visualized working with Oprah and Deepak Chopra before that dream actually became a reality, and how she made it happen. This is episode 314, Big Dreamers, and it's time to dream big.
Welcome to the Dream Big podcast show. We're inspiring you to shoot for the moon, take aim and go. We bring to you amazing guests who truly love what they do. Every day they're living their dreams, and so can you. Dream big, take action to reach your goals. Are you pumped yet? It's showtime, let's rock and roll.
I am beyond excited to introduce you all to Gabby Bernstein. You may already recognize Gabby's name because in episode 208, I did an entire episode on Gabby's comeback rate concept, which now you'll be able to hear directly from Gabby about the meaning of that phrase and so many other amazing tips on how we can be and stay happy during these challenging times. Gabby is one of the world's leading experts on happiness with numerous #1 New York Times best-selling books. She's been featured on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday as a next-generation thought leader. And, along with Deepak Chopra, Gabby co-hosted the Guinness Book of World Records' largest group meditation. Without further ado, it is my honor to introduce the Big Dreamers to Gabby Bernstein. Let's roll the tape. Hi, Gabby. It's so exciting to have you on the Dream Big podcast.
I could not be more excited to be here. This is so awesome.
Well, thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you here, and I'm so excited to talk to you today.
I'm so happy to be with you. I like your Zoom background. It's very, very
Thank you.
Very cool.
Thank you. I'm so excited to talk to you about happiness and love and gratitude today. But before we do talk about that, I always like to ask guests about their journey. And I know, for instance, that you have referred to your early 20s as the time when you were emotionally and spiritually bankrupt. And even though on the outside world, it may have appeared like you were okay and you were great and you were doing great for your age. But can you talk a little bit about the difference between achievements in a career versus being happy as a person?
What an amazing first question, by the way. That's so good. Well, I actually believe that throughout my journey as a spiritual teacher and a self-help book author, I have come to realize that any outside credential or amount of money or relationship is not our source of happiness and worthiness. It's the result of a grounded state. So when we think that something out there is going to make us happy, we actually have it all wrong. It's when we're happy that what we desire begins to come to us naturally. So when we focus on feeling good, that is how we can allow what we want to unfold. And so that's really been the big part of my story, is not using my credentials or my experiences or my books or whatever to be my source of happiness and worthiness, but instead to make sure that that worthiness came from my own inner being and my own inner experience.
I think that it's important to separate those two concepts. Like Tony Robbins, he calls it the science of achievement versus the art of fulfillment. And like you're saying, it's about when you're happy that your dreams, when you achieve them, they make you happy. And when you're not happy and your dreams come to you and you're sad while you have your dreams, and that's truly sad. So today, I can't wait to largely focus on how to be happy and fulfilled. So I'm really excited that we get to talk today and to share with all my big dreamers on how to be happy and how to reach the art of fulfillment.
Let's do it, girlfriend.
You're often referred to as a happiness guru. And one of the things I heard you say in a video is one of the keys to happiness is to stop judging, both judging yourself and judging others. And I think a lot of kids do this. For instance, right now, a lot of kids are starting school, and I know that people will start judging, you're judging people on the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they look. Can you share how this is not a good idea?
Yeah. So judgment is something that I think, especially as a kid, can really get in the way of your happiness and your well-being and your friendships. Judgment is often one of the key reasons why we feel unsettled and in a state of unrest, because we often judge others because we don't want to deal with our own feelings. So we put on to somebody else what we don't want to feel within ourselves. But if we practice allowing ourselves to be present with our own feelings and breathe into our feelings and be present and honor our feelings, right? So like I'm watching Daniel Tiger with my son, and it's like, when you're feeling bad and you want to roar, take a deep breath and count to 4, right? So instead of holding that anger in or that frustration in, but just breathing into it and allowing yourself to be present in it, that's what will give you the release that you need so that you don't judge. We judge others for their clothes or for their attitude or for who they're hanging out with or whatever, because we don't want to feel something, because we're uncomfortable with ourselves. And so we put it onto somebody else. So the practice, I would say, to release judgment is to just feel your feelings, to be present with your feelings. If you give yourself 90 seconds to feel your feelings, they can change and you can be in a different attitude and it will take away the judgment.
That's amazing. And of course, the oldest saying is, don't judge a book by its cover. And it's so true. You're cutting off so many opportunities by making assumptions and judgments about other people. And if you're open and curious and interested in people, then you're going to attract amazing friends. And if you're not curious and you're judging, then someone could have been your friend, but you missed out on the opportunity.
Yeah, I absolutely love what you're saying, because curiosity is actually one of the keys to confidence. Because if you're feeling insecure, or you're feeling like you're not in part of the crowd or whatever it is, ask other people questions about themselves. Because really all people want to do is talk about themselves. All right. And so just ask people, well, what is it that you like? Or what did you do this summer? Or whatever may be some way of inquiring and being curious, because that gets you out of your own insecurities and into a dialogue and a conversation. And most importantly, a connection. And that connection really clears away the path.
For sure. And in one of your speeches on Oprah's Super Soul Talks, you share an important phrase: obstacles are detours in the right direction. And I was hoping you could talk about this concept for a little bit, because I think a lot of us, especially kids right now, are dealing with obstacles that we could have never predicted. With COVID, school last year was abruptly canceled and people were unable to celebrate graduation or go to summer camps. So for students who are feeling really overwhelmed by these changes, what would you say, and how can it be viewed as a detour in the right direction?
Excellent question. I really think, Eva, that it's the power of our thoughts is what will get us through this time. So when we see all the things that have been unfolding in front of us and all that's been taken away from us, and graduation and not being in school and not seeing your friends and not having the comfort level that you've always had, and we go down the road of being upset and being upset and being upset, we create more negativity around us. Whereas if we start to just gently guide our thoughts to something better, just reaching for something a little bit better, we can actually proactively change our entire experience of COVID and what's happening around us. So an example of reaching for something better and just going to the next best thought could be, okay, well, this is the first time that the world is going through the same thing. We're all in something together. We're not alone in this, right? Or we could say, I have had an opportunity to get closer to my parents, or I've had an opportunity to get a pet, whatever it may have been. Maybe you got a dog or whoever it is, right? Or I now know how much I appreciate my friendships that I never would have appreciated them before. So just looking at the silver lining, as we say, or just looking at what we can be grateful for in these moments will get us out of the negative spiral loop and really help us to be more energetically upbeat at this time.
I agree. And I mean, I was really bummed out at the beginning of summer because we had plans to go to Siberia to visit my grandparents. And I was planning to go for 2 weeks to a summer camp that I have gone to for the past 2 years and I really loved. But a couple days ago, I was actually telling my parents how this turned out to be the best summer yet, in my opinion, because I actually instead got to go visit my grandparents in Nevada that I don't get to see a lot. We went on a boat trip and an RV trip, and me and my family went and explored the local area, going on bike rides and hikes. And I got 2 new ducks. So who knows what the summer brought everyone. But in a way, as you said, there's a silver lining to everything. So
good for you. Good for you, Eva. Good on you. Good for you. It's beautiful perspective.
Well, thank you so much. And I really think that for some people, even though they view it as the worst summer, it could have actually been a good summer after all. So the next question I want to talk about is a concept of yours that I actually love so much. I already published an entire solo episode about it, but I wanted to have our big dreamers hear it from you directly today. And that's the idea of a comeback rate. So you're known as the happiness guru. And when people ask you if you're always happy, because people assume that you must be happy all the time. What is your response, and why is a comeback rate so important?
Right. So my answer is hell no, I'm not happy all the time. Of course I'm not. I'm a human being. But I don't focus on being happy all the time. I focus on how quickly I can come back to feeling better. So in my life, in my career, I'm writing my 9th self-help book. So I have so many methods and tools that I have developed for coming back to a better feeling. So the focus isn't always about being happy all the time, but it's about developing practices for coming back. And the more you come back to that place of happiness, the easier it becomes. So just like you were saying when you were talking about focusing on the good stuff this summer, the more you focus on the good stuff, the easier it is to focus on the good stuff. The more you breathe into your feelings, the easier it is to do it the next time. So finding these different practices to get you out of a negative mood is a really important technique for every human being, particularly young people, to develop that kind of resilience and then to guide yourself back. And so let me give you 1 or 2 things that people can do, okay? Because I know that it's really important to me to give these messages to a young audience right now, because what you guys need most are tools to feel better in the moment so that you can create that resilience and that comeback rate, okay? So if you notice that you're feeling anxious, you can just do a simple breath practice, and it's called the 5-second breath, right? So you breathe in for 5 strokes. So in, 2, 3, 4, 5. You hold your breath for 5. And then you release your breath for 5 seconds at 5 strokes, and then you hold it again for 5. In for 5, hold for 5, out for 5, hold for 5. That one breath pattern, if you practice it 3 or 4 times, will completely calm you down and give you a different energy.
Wow, that's truly amazing. And I love that concept, Gabby. And it's so important. I also tell people I get frustrated all the time. My sister comes into my room, she takes my stuff, or something I was looking forward to gets canceled. But whatever it is, I'm human. I get frustrated. But the key is, as you said, to just snap out of it. Try breathing or come back to a very beautiful place. Picture you're in Hawaii or Mexico. And for me, it's playing music or going outside with my chickens and ducks and dog. And it's just coming back and being able to calm yourself down, right?
That's right.
So I know you have worked very closely with some of the most admired people on the planet, appearing on Oprah's Super Soul Talks and setting a Guinness World Record with Deepak Chopra for the largest group meditation. I'm curious, how long had you been thinking about working with Oprah and Deepak before that actually became a reality? And for people with big dreams who want to meet people who seem unreachable, how do you make that happen?
So I had the vision, and I mean that, a vision of being interviewed by Oprah for probably at least 8 years before it happened. And I held that vision and I meditated on that vision and I allowed myself to feel the excitement of what that vision looked like. And that dreaming that you call it, right? That visioning, that dreaming, the feeling, the excitement, the suspending any disbelief around it really contributed to me manifesting that interview. And by the time I got the call from the producers at Oprah saying, hey, Oprah wants to interview you, I was like, oh yeah, I've been waiting for this call for 8 years or whatever it was, because I had known it was coming. And there's this practice of just knowing and being certain. And the certainty comes when you just feel good and you enjoy the vision making. So if people that are watching have big dreams, don't deny yourself those dreams. Write about them, feel them, daydream about them. That is how we create the reality that we want.
Well, Gabby, I must say that having the chance to interview you, to have you on my podcast, was definitely a dream come true. And honestly, for people with big dreams out there, just keep on dreaming. Like right now, I'm dreaming that a lot of people will get lots of impact from my podcast, or in the future, I'll interview J.K. Rowling or Deepak Chopra or even Oprah. But I can tell all the big dreamers listening that it's possible to talk to and interact with incredible people just like Gabby if you believe you can do it and if you take action towards that goal.
I think we can make that Deepak Chopra interview happen for you, baby.
Well, Gabby, I have a couple final questions before our interview ends, and this is kind of like a speed round. So I'll ask a question, and we just keep on going through.
Oh, girl.
So if you go back in time and talk to your 11-year-old self, what would be the best advice?
I would tell her, you are safe.
You have already made many of your dreams a reality, but if you look at yourself today, what's your big dream for the future?
My big dream for the future is to help far more people than I've had the privilege of being already able to help. I see there's a lot of suffering in the world, and it is my intention to help so many people, particularly kids. And I'm really glad to be kind of kicking off the work with you right now to help more young people, because I believe that you are the going to make the changes that we need to see in the world. And I want to be a great support to this generation that you're in. So helping a lot more people is my big dream.
That's amazing, Gabby. And for our final question, where can our audience find out more about you?
Well, all of my work is at my website, gabbybernstein.com. But I'm also at Gabby Bernstein on social media. And those are the best places to find me.
That's amazing. You heard it, big dreamers. Go check out Gabby Bernstein. Well, thank you so much, Gabby, for coming on the podcast. It's truly been an honor to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you, Eva. You're so cool.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Now you can see why Gabby has emerged as one of the top experts on happiness and spirituality. She's simply incredible, and it was such an honor to introduce Gabby to all of you. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Eva Cartman reminding you that you have unlimited potential. Your dreams are not optional, you need to make them essential. So take massive action to turn those big dreams into reality. Live with passion, the way life is meant to be. I'll see you next episode. Bye!